fact is the way things played out, there's hands down, no doubt, God was involved in this process. Things have worked out, other than the diagnosis, things have worked out far too perfectly between, you know, me just so happened to be in such harmony with my body to know that something wasn't right, to go to the doctor, to find out that something wasn't right, to have Ashley make a relationship with the nurse at this place at UMC to save us and get us in probably a month before we would have been able to get in otherwise, at a price that was unbeatable, because now that's, you know, like I was mentioning earlier, we've got the billing statement since then and the office hasn't charged me $1. It's all lab fees for actually doing the analysis on the node, which is just a blessing, man. I mean, I really can't get over how much closer to God this experience has and will bring me. It is a beautiful thing. So alrighty, what's up, my C-Train fam? As you can see, I'm on the old Grom today, right here at the spillway. And Ashley might kill me, but I don't know if you can see them. I'll go both pointing fingers. There's one diving down and two more right there. That's bald eagles, I'm pretty sure. When they turn this way, you can tell. Whole flock of seagulls. But they're flying around low like they're gonna land, so hopefully when I take Ashley out later, she'll get to see the bald eagles, because last time I came, they were right here, 4 of them. And she loves the bald eagle, but we never get to see them up close. But anyways, it's been a while since I've done a video on the Grom, much less like a vlog on the Grom. So we'll go ride around a little bit. I got a topic that I want to cover today that probably most of the people that are subscribed, at least to this point, probably already know, because I think most of the subscribers I have on YouTube are from Facebook and stuff. So, and I've already kind of announced this on Facebook. But anyways, sorry for the sniffles, by the way. Like I said, I'm dealing with sort of like a cold right now. But anyways, for the last couple months, I haven't felt good, and over the last couple weeks, finally got a diagnosis as to what it is. And now, as of yesterday, we know what stage it is, and then what treatment plan we're going to be going through and stuff like that. And then up, you know, really up until this point, it's kind of been a guessing game and a Google research game, which, you know, can get you in trouble in and of itself, just being that you don't know whether or not you've got that, and then the treatment plans sound terrible, and stem cell and all this stuff, being in the hospital for a month. And anyways, I just want to kind of clear some of that up. I've had some friends reach out that have had similar sicknesses and sort of tell me what they've gone through, and then I know what I've been through so far as far as like the whole testing phase and everything. And I've had some people hit me up that were just curious, like how I found out, like what was happening when it started. How did you know? How did you know to go to the doctor? You know, I always worry about myself, and really, you know, it's something that I've kind of always worried about myself too, but never really known, you know, what to look for, what to expect or anything. So I guess I kind of just want to cover my experiences with that, and sort of what I've heard from other people, even as far as how did they find out, and then what process did they go through and stuff. So anyways, I guess we'll start back at the beginning of the timeline. And I know this date because it's the same time that I quit smoking cigarettes. And it's funny because I quit smoking cigarettes because I kind of felt like that those were the cause. I mean, I spray foam for a living, so we're dealing with chemicals that most people can't pronounce on a daily basis. We're literally manufacturing polyurethane plastic in people's houses and stuff, and in front of ourselves and everything. And we do wear PPE, but you know, it's always a concern. You know, if you're anybody that works around stuff, they know that, you know, you're not, unless you work at like some NASA lab or something where they like require it. On a general construction site, not many people really kind of pay attention much to the PPE requirements, and so it's always a concern. But anyways, around September 10th, I think it was when the day that I decided that I wasn't feeling good, and that I was going to start to do something about it, really, in the form of quitting smoking cigarettes. And around that same time, I decided to bite the bullet, because I haven't been to the doctor in probably 10 years previous to all this going on. And I really just wanted to get a checkup because I wasn't feeling good, and just see how everything was. Do like a blood test, talk to the doctor about the ailments I've had over the last 10 years that have gone unchecked and kind of corrected themselves and stuff like that, and just make sure that nothing's going on. So I think the earliest we were able to get the appointment was like late October. So we went ahead and jumped right off into that. Late October comes around. I'm starting to feel a little bit worse, but you know, everything's still good as far as I know. Go to the doctor, he looks at everything. Like a little lump on my back. It feels like fatty tissue. He confirms it's lymphoma or lipoma, whatever they call it. It's a non-cancerous, just lump of calcium or whatever, lump of fat. But anyways, everything was good there. He went ahead and did the blood work anyways because I kind of requested it. Everything came back absolutely perfect on that. I may even put some screenshots in just to show. But everything was perfect on that, and nothing out of the ordinary. Well, 2 weeks after that appointment, I started to notice that there's lymph nodes. What we found out later is lymph nodes on my neck and stuff. The little beans underneath your skin were starting to swell and get hard and start to cause some discomfort. And it really started with like one in right up next to my esophagus, and then started to like encroach around the back of the neck. So called the primary physician back, went and talked to him, or went and talked to him, but talked to him over the phone basically, and kind of confirmed that it's something to get checked out. And then so he referred me to an ENT over at the Benson Cancer Center over at Ochsner, which was spooky enough. I thought I was going to a regular ENT. I show up and I'm going to a cancer institute, and so you know, that was an eye-opener right there. So they go in, they're real calm about everything. They don't seem to be real impressed with anything, which was comforting. And then they do the endoscope, which is shoving like a camera down your nose into your throat, which was 10 out of 10 weirdest experience in your life. They didn't really see anything in there. A little white patch on my vocal cords, but nothing impressive. Again, so they went straight to the ultrasound. They did an ultrasound on all the nodes on my neck and stuff like that. Confirmed that there, you know, obviously is swollen lymph nodes. I mean, you could feel it through the skin. But this is sort of the process that the medical profession goes through. I mean, each one of these things costs money, we know, and that's sort of where this goes. Is, as you can tell, is it seems to be like a money trail. And at the time, we didn't know for sure that it was anything really. You know, they weren't being clear to us that this is something to be really concerned about. Being 20 to 40-year-old male, you know, the whole deal. So, anyways. We do that, and then they decide, well, you know, let's get a biopsy of this node, and you know, see what we're looking at. It looks like lymphoma, but let's get a needle biopsy and see what we're working with. So they do the needle biopsy, which they deaden a node on the back of my neck, stick a needle in it all around, swish it around and stuff, and suck a bunch of it out. And so we're like, okay, good. At least we'll get some answers. We leave. They call, I think, same day or next day, saying that everything came back benign, which you would think is good, but that they wanted to take it a step further and do an excisional biopsy, which means this time they want to take the whole node out. And you know, reading some documentation and stuff like that, since we were looking for lymphoma, and needle biopsies almost have a 1,000,000 to 1 chance of not finding lymphoma, it just seems like, again, we're going down a money trail. So at this point, I kind of wanted a second opinion. I didn't want to spend, I think they were charging us like $5,800 for this excisional biopsy. I didn't want to spend that, especially when I asked him, what happens if that comes back benign? He's like, well, we'd have to do another one. It's like, for another $1,500, $800, $5,800. Like, you know, at the time, like I said, I haven't been a doctor in 10 years. I don't have insurance. And, you know, I can't break myself at $5,800 a pop for these tests that may or may not come back benign like the last one, and really learn nothing from it. So we went, they told us about UMC, which is the University Medical Center in New Orleans, and that they may be more affordable. So we go over there. They won't see me until I go through all the same tests again, so I have to pay for all the same tests again, only to find out that instead of $5,800 like it was from Ochsner, they wanted to charge me $12,000. So for one procedure, they wanted to charge me what it would cost me for two from Ochsner, which I was, of course, like, hell to the no. But luckily, my wife had made a friend out of one of the nurses over there, Miss Sandra, and we were able to get her to get us to come in. They did it essentially pro bono on some shit. As far as we could tell from the billing, they didn't charge us anything to do it like basically outpatient. They brought me in the office real quick. She was pissed when she found out that we didn't come in for the scheduled procedure in the operating room, but it's just because we simply couldn't afford it. That was the whole reason we had come there, was to try to be able to afford it a little bit better. And by this point it's mid-December, so she calls the day of the operation and is like, absolutely not, you have to come in today. We're not letting this go by another day. Whatever you got to do, just come in. We'll deal with the payment stuff later. And so that became the plan. She called around, she worked on it. Was really just an absolute blessing. Got the number down to $2,400 instead of $12,000. And then so we went ahead and did it. We went in there super quick, super easy. Didn't feel a damn thing. They snatched the lymph node out, sewed me up, sent me home, and then called me the next day to let me know that we had a diagnosis. And I guess for most people to find out that they're diagnosed with cancer, it's like this big, like, oh my God, my life is over type thing. But at this point, we'd been chasing this for 3 months, and we're getting really frustrated with the fact that we felt like we were getting the runaround, and we just couldn't afford to keep doing it, you know. And the worry set in that we're dealing with cancer, so you know, it was just a real shitty deal. So anyways, finding out finally that we have a diagnosis and now can go starting towards the treatment was just really a great thing. So we found out Hodgkin's lymphoma. They went ahead and scheduled an appointment for me for January 16th for an oncologist. We ended up calling Oshner back and getting back on board because we had somebody that basically had the same exact thing, Hodgkin's lymphoma, except they had the bulky version. And they went to the doctor at Oshner. So we went over there, and we were able to get in 10 days earlier, January 6th, which was yesterday, and get staged. So we did the PET scan, which they put a tracer in you, like a radioactive sugar tracer thing, and then take a big picture basically of your whole body and see where this is spread to, and find out what stage you're in at that point, which luckily I'm stage 2. We were kind of planning for like worst case scenario, like stage 4, which in lymphoma is still treatable, but a little bit less so, and maybe with more treatment. So stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma classic, and I am scheduled to get my Kim port on my chest Monday the 13th, and then we should probably be starting chemo, the first round of chemo, the end of the week. So it's going to be, the treatment plan I think is 4 cycles, which is 4 months, one day every 2 weeks, to do this chemo. The doctor's hoping that I'll be in full remission by month 2. So it looks like that we caught it pretty early, and thankfully from Sandra that we didn't get any more runaround. We were able to get this thing going, and by summertime I should be clear of this shit, which is freaking amazing. The next thing on the agenda obviously is telling my daughter about it, which I don't know, we haven't really discussed how or what we're going to do about that. We got a book that is supposed to break it down for you. But you know, she's got to know, but we don't want her to worry. So that's the big thing. Busted. But anyway, so that's where we're at. Of course, the hair's gonna fall out. I'm gonna get pretty sick for the chemo thing and all that, and you know, lots of fun stuff to look forward to. But honestly, I've just been feeling like so much shit here lately. Tired. Really, that's been, and that's another thing to touch on. That's really been the only symptoms that I've had to speak of, is nodes that are swollen like crazy. They started popping up like crazy. I'll put in the PET scan so that you can see how many of them are in my neck. It's just amazing. And the swelling was real bad. I get headaches from the nodes in the back. I get a jaw ache from the nodes by my jaw. Couldn't really breathe real good or swallow real good sometimes from the node by my esophagus. It was just a whole lot of not fun wrapped into one thing. Bitch, I'm gonna get this 3-4. I got the 4th gear switch on that one. Talking and wheeling, pretty difficult. I was thinking I could keep y'all entertained by doing a wheelie here and there, every now and then. But I can't talk and do it at the same time. So that's where we're at. Homie should have fucking jumped out first, honestly. Anyways, I don't know if I'm gonna post this thing or not. I'll probably have to trim some of this stuff out, try to shorten this thing up, but I basically just want to kind of document this thing, start vlogging the process. I haven't vlogged it up to this point because 1, I'm not a vlogger, and 2, it just was kind of humdrum and really up in the air. So until we knew something, I guess it really wasn't worth recording. But I guess from now on we may go ahead and try to follow the process, either before and after treatments and stuff like that, kind of keep track of the here's day 1 after chemo, day 2, stuff like that, and catalog my process, really just, I guess, for posterity. And I don't think my daughter's really going to quite understand, and then when she gets older and she can understand, or maybe if I'm not even there anymore, she can sort of kind of watch what we went through and how optimistic we were in the process. Because that's the main thing is I mean, I know Ashley's kind of upset and worried about it and stuff like that, but man, I tell you, I've been optimistic about the whole deal. I mean, I talked to Ashley about it, and I don't know if maybe y'all can kind of let me know if I'm the only one out there. Maybe I am, but I've always kind of just felt like that I wasn't meant to live to old age, if that makes sense. Like, not like a dream that did this to me, or you know, somebody instilling this in me. It just felt like that I've always kind of lived the life of like, fuck it, you know, like even with the PPE stuff we were talking about for work. I mean, it was kind of like, it's not going to kill me today, I'll deal with the problems tomorrow type deal. So it was always like I've been putting off so many problems till later that surely it was going to catch up to me sooner than later. And you know, I was going to deal with some shit. I mean, I've even told, I mean, Ashley's known this since before we got married, and I've always said that, like, by the time I turn 65, which is normally like people's retirement age, that I'll have YOLO'd my whole life, so I don't need to retire. And you know, by the time I start having problems like where I'm taking freaking 5 pounds of medicine every morning and stuff like that, I'd rather just go out with a bang and just jump out of a plane with no parachute and enjoy the ride down, you know what I mean? But so anyways, just back to it. It was like when the cancer stuff and the worry about this was going to be cancer, and everybody saying that, you know, through my research, it seems like that you definitely have Hodgkin's lymphoma and this and that. You know, thinking about your own mortality normally spooks the hell out of people. And really, it was just like a, yep, you know, you caught me. You know, I guess it's kind of like how criminals have to feel, like if you robbed a bank or something, or murdered somebody when you were a kid or something like that, and that shit just haunts you all the time. Like, when the FBI finally shows up at your door, you're not going to be like fucking like surprised and worried and all that shit. You're going to think about, well, you know, I've had all these good years that I could have had taken away from me way back when, so at least I have that. So that's where that's kind of my mentality. Ashley's been upset, but trying to stay strong for her too. You know, that's part of it too, is, you know, my family's worried about it. I got friends and stuff that are showing overwhelming support and worry and sending prayers and stuff like that, and it's really just been a blessing. I mean, everything has fallen into place. That's another thing to mention. This all happened leading up to and during, like, the diagnosis basically came during open enrollment for healthcare in the United States, which, you know, I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of. It's not very affordable, you know, for this Affordable Care Act shit. I'm paying like $1,400 a month for decent coverage, but it's not all that affordable. But the allowing pre-existing conditions may have saved my life. And no, it's not even may. It did save my life. Had I tried to buy insurance with a cancer diagnosis, these people would have told me to go fuck myself, you know. So as much as I don't like the way things have happened with healthcare, and really I probably could have maybe afforded healthcare years ago, and maybe I wouldn't even be in this place, but the fact is the way things played out, there's hands down, no doubt, God was involved in this process things have worked out, other than the diagnosis, things have worked out far too perfectly between, you know, me just so happened to be in such harmony with my body to know that something wasn't right, to go to the doctor, to find out that something wasn't right, to have Ashley make a relationship with the nurse at this place at UMC to save us and get us in probably a month before we would have been able to get in otherwise, at a price that was unbeatable, because now that's, you know, like I was mentioning earlier, we've got the billing statement since then and the office hasn't charged me $1. It's all lab fees for actually doing the analysis on the node, which is just a blessing, man. I mean, I really can't get over how much closer to God this experience has and will bring me. It is a beautiful thing. So we were able to get everything squared away. Financially, I should be good. My business partner is going to pick up the slack for me. I'm in a supervisional role where I don't have to do a lot of hard work and stuff like that. So I'm just extremely, extremely blessed. That's the key. Scoot. Hope that more people don't like that shit. So I need to cut it. You need to cut it. Turn my blinker off mid-wheelie. So anyways, that's kind of it. I'll ride a wheelie on the way home and then we'll shut this thing down. I think Ashley's going to want to ride with me. See you, Ashley. Who was your boyfriend home? I was asking if your boyfriend was home. He would have loved that.